So I don't know where it's saving all this too. By the way, I just don't know.
Or just fuck around with it. I mean, are we
That's
live?
what we're kind of doing. Yeah, we're live right.
Ooh.
We should be live.
Excuse my language.
Oh, that's fine.
Start watching.
And it should come up. It says we're live. And it's recording here apparently. Right? I don't know. I think so. It says it's recording.
Yep.
Huh. Well, are you ready to go?
It's pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Indeed I am. Well, indeed I am.
It's going to take some messing around and
That's the fun part.
learning.
That is the fun part. Alright.
Thank you for tapping into some Untapped Keg. I'm one of your hosts, RJ Zimmerman, here with my brother-in-law, Monte Ball. How you doing, big fella?
I'm good. I am doing well. It's pretty cool, man, how we're trying this new thing out. Obviously, you guys are going to see this as well. We don't know what we're doing, but we're just going to keep just pushing buttons, dragging stuff, trying to get it all together.
Hey, just a couple of amateurs having a good time, you know. Everything we've said that we're trying to do, we're trying to take it to the next level for next year. I guess this is a good time to kind of talk about what we want. What's up, Dan? So, we're going to start recording the podcast live. So, we got some webcams. You're going to get to see our ugly mugs. Mons is going to show off his Harry Potter mug.
Oh, you weren't calling this ugly. You're calling this ugly.
No, calling ourselves ugly.
Good Lord, the beard.
It's almost 2 months in the making, Dan. You can kind of see some gray on this side right here.
I saw that yesterday. I was like, he's got some pretty long.
I got some grays coming in.
Some pretty long grays.
So yeah, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start recording everything live. So we're gonna have it a live recording. Then we're gonna break it out to YouTube, and you can watch it on Twitch. We'll still have our podcast on all podcast services. It's going to take some editing. It's going to take some learning by us. Like, we're just kind of, like, throwing this together. We did a live watch-along last night with the Badger game, which was a lot of fun. We had some fun people joining us in that stream. I want to give a huge shout-out to Ted. What's up, Ted? Yeah, so we're going to start with that, and then we're going to have more podcasts. So we're going to have a second show. It'll be the first one of the week. It'll be, depending on how you look at it. So we're going to record a sports-centric podcast on Thursdays or Fridays. It'll be live on Fridays. That way we could talk about the upcoming Badger game. We can talk about the upcoming NFL games and what's coming into the weekend. Because most of the time, by the time you guys hear our podcast, the games have already been played. So you know exactly what we're talking about. So this way we can kind of take what we talk about the most of that podcast and put it on its own in a sports podcast. And then we're going to have one that's focused more on our recovery, how we're doing during the week. It'll be more our hobbies, what we're doing to stay healthy, and it's gonna be more like the beginning of the shows, and then less of the sports on the back end, but like more of movies, TV shows, video games, and then we'll still do, like, let's say there's a big game announcement or something. Maybe we'll break out and have Dan on again as well, who's in the chat. What's up, Dan? By the way, again, it's good to see you, bud.
I think you explained that pretty well. I think that's a good plan that we got. And again, we always just obviously just preface it with we are amateurs. We're playing around with stuff. We're just having fun. Known RJ for, it's 11 years now?
Yeah.
11 years now. So, obviously he's family. We were just trying to keep each other healthy. And obviously things are transitioning into the virtual world. So we're just going to try to continue to engage with as many people as possible. And really just it's all about just having fun.
Yeah,
really.
we're just looking to kind of expand what we've been doing. So I feel like we got pretty good cadence on the audio side. So we're gonna try to see what we can do on the visual side.
Yeah. So last night.
Yeah, I was gonna
sorry.
say
Go ahead,
probably won't always be in the same room doing this. We'd probably be separate. Could be I'll be at my house and then Mons will be at his, but we'll keep having fun, and now you'll get to see us when you'll be able to see my face when I'm being sarcastic, and I know sometimes my voice doesn't kind of give out the sarcasm, but I am sarcastic a lot. I think most of the listeners understand that. So,
absolutely.
Last night, what do you think of that game? Talking about Wisconsin, Minnesota, son.
Ooh. So yeah, RJ kind of touched on it a bit. So we had a pretty awesome thing. So there's this platform called Hot Mic, and essentially what it is if you're familiar with Twitch, then you're familiar with this. You may not know it already, but you're familiar with this style of platform. It's a watch party, pretty much the same exact layout. You can text, etc., and we can actually bring people on as well. Like I can click someone who's in the chat and send them a request to be a co-host, and then they can pop on a split screen and we can chat while we're obviously watching the game as well. We can watch football, soccer, poker tournaments, movies, really anything that you can watch. We can have watch parties with, and so we had one last night, obviously with the Badger game, Badgers versus the Gophers, Battle of the Axe, and I guess to talk about the Badgers play, I'm excited. Not excited. That's essentially the last game of the season if we don't get awarded a bowl. But for it being the last game of the season, I think it was kind of entertaining. At least a close game of battle. It really showed that it was a rivalry game and everything. Now, if we dive more into the actual play of our offense, I'm still a little disappointed, of course. I think that there's a crap ton of room for improvement from the coaches to the players.
That's understatement,
right? I mean, Mertz obviously didn't play well, to where they had to bring in Chase Wolf, and I think Chase Wolf stepped up. I think we really got to give him some credit for being thrown in there and performing, because Cone was still on the sideline, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's healthy enough to play though. I think he's just on the sideline, kind of symbolically, because I think if he was healthy, he would have started that second half. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Instead of having Wolf in there, handing the ball off a couple times, then bringing in Mertz, I think that there was a lot of throws left on the table. I think that's been the name of how the previous 4 games have gone. Is there's a lot of throws that could be made that are not made yet. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they get better. Hopefully they use this to get better, to get see that they need to work on it. It's not just showing up that's going to get you the wins. You're gonna have to grind.
Yeah.
Even against, maybe a team that's less talented than you. I think the Gophers are right there with Wisconsin as far as talent goes, but yeah, there was a lot of open receivers that were missed yesterday. There was a lot of, I would say, play calls that were left out there. So, Groshek takes that trap, goes up the middle, and scores a touchdown. I think we saw that run maybe one more time after that. That was it. So,
it's
lots of stuff like that.
And I think the $1 million question, I mean, I keep getting asked this question on Twitter, Instagram, is the beginning of the season. I think the first 2 games, Coach Christ had his fingers in the play calling with Coach Rudolph, Joe Rudolph. But then after, I think the second game, maybe even the third game, he gave full responsibility to Joe Rudolph. And I think we obviously have seen a significant decline in that offense.
I agree. I completely agree there. I think And they said that on the broadcast they were talking about how the quarterbacks, instead of the signals, because Indiana was stealing some signals, they would go to the sideline and the quarterbacks would relay the plays in person. And they started that 4 games ago, and it's like, okay, or 2 games ago, whatever. Okay, you scored like 6 points in those 2 games. Why are you still doing it? Let's be honest.
Right.
So
that's true though, and that's the thing is you clearly can see a difference from the first 2 games and the last games of the season. Yeah, because it's so the question is, does Coach Chris need to get back to calling plays? Absolutely, 100%. That is, for me, that's an easy decision because Coach Chris was my offensive coordinator, and I know how well he is at picking apart defenses. He's really good at it, and I think he needs to really wear that hat big time. I mean, we saw it first 2 games. Mertz was out there balling. The offense looked good. Now, I get it. We have some starters that are out. Some playmakers, Pryor, Davis, Berger, and even Watson. Yeah, was out. So we obviously have to mention that, of course. When your playmakers are out, you need some other people to step up, and you may have to adjust the playbook, but I still feel like we're not finding any rhythm at all. And I think that immediately points towards the coaching. If you can't see a rhythm, the identity is no longer there with the Badgers.
I agree. The first drive had a rhythm, but then after that, you really didn't have anything. And that interception at the end of the game where they threw it deep, that's just not relaying to your quarterback what you need. Like, yes, the quarterback made the decision, and it was a very poor throw, but you have to relay to him. If he's that wide open, you do not take that shot.
You don't.
You hold the ball, and you live to see another down.
Yep, absolutely. And who knows? They may have shared that with him on the sideline. Was that Wolf's throw? Sure, a young player. He probably tried to take a shot to really solidify, him stepping in.
The legend of Wolf.
Yeah, he tried to ignite that spark and keep it going. But who knows? Then obviously on the flip side of that, maybe they didn't relay that to him, and I guess I'm more leaning towards that side, the latter part of that, because we've been ringing the bell of the coaching for a while now. And I'm not trying to just completely throw the coaching under the bus, but that's just really what it comes down to is every single Badger fan can agree that there is a significant lack of identity, which is not something that we're used to.
Absolutely.
At Wisconsin football since Alvarez, stepped in. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen the following season. I think we got some pretty good recruits, right, coming in.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the most talented recruiting class ever.
We'll see.
This season.
We'll see.
The linebackers, the defense showed out again. Your linebackers look amazing. Sanborn's gone, but Chanel looks really freaking good.
What year is he again?
I think he's a junior. I mean, we could look that up quick, but
yeah, let me check it.
Chanel looked very good.
Let me check it out here real quick. Let's see.
See where he is. But so you have this secondary that's starting to grow. You didn't have Wild Goose, and I think that showed, right? Again, Caesar Williams needs to get a little bit better. You like Herbig, you got Benton, you got a lot of players. He's a sophomore. Yeah, dude's gonna be a really good player for.
He's a sophomore. So no matter what, we're getting him for another year, which is good.
You're excited about your defense next year. You just got to figure out your offense. You're excited about the offense no matter what, because there's talk that Pryor Davis might come back, use this as a medical redshirt year.
I think
they probably will be able to do. So if they come back this year, I'm like, there's a lot on the defense. Like if a defender is getting a decent grade, I would be gone. But other than that, yeah, I mean, what you saw from Berger is exciting. Even when Mertz was not playing well, he made these throws that are like, he's got the arm. He's got to make the decisions better.
Yeah.
He's got to, instead of reacting to what's happening, he's got to anticipate what's going to happen.
Right.
So,
which is a good point that you just made, because you stated it as we were watching the game, that rollout that rollout play that they kept doing, Mertz rolling out to his right. You know, you want to keep the defense moving. You want to use the width of the field. Well, that flat route was always open immediately.
Yeah.
But he would wait to throw it.
Yeah.
He would wait to throw it, and by the time he would throw it, that allows for the defense to close in on the throw as opposed to hitting him immediately, giving your receiver time to obviously catch the ball and use his abilities in open space.
Yeah. It seemed like every time he got the ball out early, Dunn was getting a first down, or at least close to it. So,
jeez, he's got some speed on him. So I mean, I who knows, man? I mean, Mertz is obvious. I think we're gonna see a huge growth. I'm hoping a huge jump in growth with Mertz next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully he takes his off season. Not saying that he hasn't taken the off season serious, but I want for him to really. Hopefully he understands that the off season is where you see your growth.
Put that work in.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you see it next year.
It's that off season play, and
it's that baked potato cottage cheese diet. You know.
It's just a lot, man. A lot goes into the off season of training and all the above. So obviously, come training camp and stuff, you're already ready to go. You're just fine tuning stuff. So I'm looking forward to our Badgers to really just get back into finding that identity, because our defense has been consistent for the last 3 seasons. I'll maybe even give it 4 prior to even Jimmy Lillard showing up. I think our defense still was okay, but obviously when Jimmy Lillard showed up, we became a top 5 defense the last possibly 3 years.
I think under Aranda they were still top 5 defense.
That's right. Before he took off the
It was before Aranda. You were pretty good defense. Aranda took you to elite, and then Leonard has just kept you there and maybe taken a step even higher.
Absolutely.
So
it's just our offense has got to find that identity and a rhythm. And it starts, I mean, it's Wisconsin football. It starts in the backfield.
It really does. Well, does it start in the backfield or does it start up front? Because I feel like
That's true.
I feel like we saw it a lot yesterday. That offensive line did not hold up. There was a lot of plays where those defenders were wrecking house coming up the middle. So
that's why I want to know where the players are at mentally, because I try to put myself in that situation. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm playing every single game. You know, as cliche as it sounds, as if it's my last. But I want to know what it would be like playing in the pandemic, playing where you missed 3 games or whatever, playing with your team having COVID possibly, or what, all that mess.
Make it a bowl game. You're not playing for a bowl game anymore.
Yeah, not playing for a bowl game. You're not. You were knocked out of the championship game because of eligibility. So I want to know where their mind was at mentally come this last game. Now, obviously, you have 2 options. Either they were like, you know, we're going to play extremely well. We're going to finish the season outright. We're going to make sure we have something to build on. Or the other option is to just hurry up and get it over with.
Your
and,
flights
yeah, exactly.
Cancun.
Yeah, so it's
what am I going to do over spring break? Am I going to go down to the Gulf Shores, or am I going to go to Mexico?
Yeah,
where it's cheap.
So I wonder where their mind is at, but I guess we can only speculate for as long as we can. But we obviously have to use their gameplay, and we came out with a victory. Of course, we came out with a victory against a decent Minnesota team.
In overtime, it was when they missed that kick. That was I couldn't. We were kind of spoiled that they missed it beforehand, but
right?
It was like I could not believe that he just missed that kick, because it was not like a super long kick.
It wasn't.
It wasn't a gimme either. It wasn't the one that Larsh made, but
right.
And then Larsh turns around, ice in my veins. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, our kicker's talking the most trash. I like it.
We played softball against French, who was
we did.
He talks a lot of trash.
I love it. I love it when the kickers talk trash. It's just a different take on things, but
yeah.
So that's most likely it for Badger football for this year. Crazy year, but we got some. Hopefully, Danny Davis, Kendrick Pryor make a return. Obviously, to be weapons for Mertz. I think Berger's going to excel big time. I think he's going to have a really productive offseason and come in and explode on the offense. I just really looking forward to us to find that identity. Absolutely. So, I mean,
yeah. Well, Next year, it's a new year, and every year we go in thinking the Badgers have a shot at the national title. Are we going to change our thoughts for next year? No. We're Wisconsin fans. We're stupid. We come back and we beat our head against that same wall every time. Whether it be basketball, whether it be football, whether it be women's volleyball, men's hockey, women's hockey.
Crochet.
We always think we're going to win that national title. Let's go.
Underwater basket weaving.
I mean, women's basketball, I don't think I said that, so...
Yeah, all the above, all Badger sports. You know, we're
winning the national title. It's happening
for the top. So Badger football, that's we're looking forward to next year. You know, we got other things obviously to chat about. We got a lot of other sports coming up. That being currently going on. We got Badger hockey. We got obviously Packer football is doing well.
Are they?
A win is a win. You guys beat the Panthers last night. No matter what, a win is a win.
Let's hold that for later.
Especially at that level. You got Giannis decided to come back for another 5 years.
That's exciting.
You guys still got Yelich, of course.
For
you got
8 years.
Yeah, exactly. You got Rodgers, Yelich. I'm saying his name right. Yelich, right?
Yep.
Yelich and Giannis. What I'm getting at is Wisconsin sports. Hopefully, can turn a corner here.
Is exciting.
Turn a corner here in the next couple of years.
One championship. It would be awesome if it was the Packers, but it would be even more amazing if it was the Brewers or Bucks, because the Bucks haven't won since Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Before he was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, okay? Not a lot of people remember that he was drafted by the Bucks and he won a championship with the Bucks before he went to LA. Before he became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
The leading scorer in all-time history of the NBA.
Yeah. And then, the Brewers have never won a World Series.
And I don't think they will. I think your best bet...
Sit down. Sit down, let the grown-ups talk. All right?
I think if I had to choose on which Wisconsin sports team is going to
be the Packers.
Get there, Packers. Yeah. Packers. But the NFC is looking... I mean, the Saints, man. The Saints are looking strong. But you never know with the Packers. You never know. And I don't know. I think it's
their defense.
All I'm saying is...
they need to be able to get pressure. And last night they didn't. They didn't get it consistently, and they didn't get it really much at all. So they did force 2 fumbles. I still cannot believe that one at the goal line that was recovered for a touchdown. But then there was a holding penalty, and it was like... What are the odds?
I'm just excited to really see the turn in Wisconsin sports in this next 2 years, because I think it's, like I said, with Giannis's fire and Yelich. I mean, I think there's a really big push on people wanting to stay and play in Wisconsin. So I think there's...
And win championships. That's the biggest difference.
Right.
It's not okay just to get to the finals anymore, or the conference finals. I mean, it's championship or bust.
Yeah.
Brewers and Bucks just getting to the finals, the World Series. We'll start there, but with the Packers, it's win it, or it's a bad season.
Yeah,
that's just how it is.
That's what it's got to be. That's
what's so frustrating about last night. So, okay, I guess we're just gonna get into it. We're not even gonna talk about how our week was. We're not gonna talk about.
We can still get into that.
But so, I saw this on Twitter. Your coach, his most famous line is "all gas, no effing brake," right?
Yeah.
Well, 3 games this season, and it's been more than 3 games, but 3 games for sure. You're gonna let off the gas and let a team come back on you in the second half, and what are you doing with your offense? Like this, it's not all gas. You're not just putting teams away.
Yeah, right.
That's what's frustrating. That's what's concerning, and that's why fans today are. Look, they got away from the run last night. They ran way too many bubble screens. They could not stop the pass rush. So there were no shots taken downfield. There was 1 deep shot, and then there was 3 or 4 intermediate shots, and that's it. So it was all bubble screens. The corners were coming up hard. You didn't have enough time to be able to fake a bubble screen and then hit them right over the top. It would have been there every time too.
Pump it.
So that's what's frustrating. That's what's worrisome. When they needed a big drive, they got the big drive. They got the field goal. When they needed the first down, they got a first down.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones looked really good in the first half. He looked a little gassed in the second half, I'm not going to lie. Jamal Williams had a little bit of a hamstring injury. That's a little bit concerning. I was hoping, I don't know if A.J. Dillon was a scratch last night. Since he got COVID, he hasn't played, but
Right.
I really was hoping to see A.J. Dillon last night. I want to see what those hamstrings can do against a defense like that. That dude's got
some tree trunks.
Oh my goodness.
Some tree trunks in legs.
He's got bigger legs than Derrick Henry.
I think bigger than Saquon Barkley too, right?
He's
thicker than Saquon Barkley.
He's got some big legs. This man.
I think he's gonna be good. I think that was a steal for the Packers. I will say that. I think that was a steal. Boston College, right?
You haven't seen anything from him though.
Boston College, right? Yeah, but I still think I got a pretty good. My intuition with running backs is pretty accurate, I would say, and I feel like he's a steal for sure, because I think you guys' system, the Packers system, with the run complementing the throw. You don't see a lot of teams that can perfect that, and you know what I mean. When you have a quarterback like Rodgers, well, I can just use myself as an example. Whenever we playing with Peyton Manning, there really wasn't that. The run really didn't complement. It was like 80% throw. It was 80%.
Well, yeah.
We're gonna call
when
throws.
You have Wes Welker, who's a walking first down. That makes it easier.
That's true. Absolutely. So I'm just saying, like, you guys have found a way to have, obviously, still have an attack in the air, one of the top in the NFL, and obviously an amazing tandem of running backs as well, too, that being Jones and Williams. You don't really see that. Firing on all cylinders like that. Usually, one outweighs the other, but there's a pretty nice balance with that, and it's pretty cool to watch. So you guys have the weapons. It's just
which
you guys
is crazy to say because remember at the beginning of the season, which I still stand by. They need to get Rodgers some more weapons, but they have utilized their weapons very well. There was a play at the end of the first half. Rodgers had a dime on 3rd and 9 to Lazard. And his hands were up, and the ball went right through him in the face mask on the sideline.
And they're going to count that as an incomplete.
I'm sure it's not going to be a drop. And that's where it gets concerning. There was a deep shot to MVS that MVS breaks it kind of inside a little bit. It was not a great throw. But there was a chance. Yeah. That is, okay. There was a chance that if MVS kind of breaks more towards the middle of the field, he can make a play. But, I mean, you get that with age. So,
yeah, and
I mean, Adams really didn't break out till his 5th year.
Right. I mean,
he was fine, but he wasn't as great as he is.
Right. I think obviously, you're right. I mean, obviously, the more you play, the more opportunities you get, the more you learn.
Yeah.
And there's obviously there's no better quarterback to learn than from obviously than Aaron Rodgers himself, but. I think the Packers can most definitely do it. I'm, of course, a Broncos fan, and the Broncos.
They played yesterday too.
Apparently, did they?
I don't know.
Yeah,
they're still searching the field to see who they forgot.
Man, so the Broncos took on the Bills in Mile High, I believe. It was in Mile High.
Yeah, it was in Denver.
I mean, the Broncos.
What was it? 57-4?
No, I think it was 43, maybe to 13 or 12.
It was 19.
Something ridiculous like that. A huge gap. But Broncos are just, I don't know. I'm just gonna be honest. I was sold on Locke, but I don't know if I'm sold on Locke anymore.
You can't be. After the second half of the season, you cannot be sold on him.
I don't understand.
You have a lot of weapons.
Where he went.
Yeah.
I mean, he started off pretty well.
He might be playing with an injury. You never know.
That's true. Because we got Hamler, whose speed is up there with Hill, Tyreek Hill. I mean, not that's fast.
I don't know if you go that high yet.
He's
got a little bit to show.
True, and obviously we got Jerry Jeudy, who runs some really crisp routes. We got Noah Fant, tight end with some speed. We got obviously Melvin Gordon back there that's putting up numbers.
Yeah.
We got Phillip Lindsay, he's injured a bit. I don't know if he play. I'm pretty sure he's still banged up, but it's still a good tandem back there. We have running backs. I'm just not understanding what's going on. We got a pretty good offensive line too, led by Dalton Reisner himself. I can never say his last name, but we got some leaders on that offense. I really think you got to point it at Locke, and he's young, of course. This only being his 2nd season, so he'll turn it around. But I think I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Elway. I think if I was, I mean, I would say Elway's got another year, maybe two to do something.
Yeah, I think he has one more quarterback. So if you think Locke's not the guy, he has one more quarterback he can bring in or draft. And if they're not the guy, you got to move on. I think that's the only missing piece. It is the only missing piece.
Peyton Manning was an anomaly. I mean, you got a first ballot Hall of Famer going on the free agency. I mean, that's you can't give Elway credit for that. I mean, you can't. That's like the Buccaneers getting credit for
Tom Brady.
It's you pay him what he needs to be paid to get him on your team. It's very simple. There's not a lot of thought goes into that. So let's take Peyton out of the equation. Yeah, I'm not understanding what he's doing with that quarterback position, and I mean
you got Joe Flacco,
man, for
Trevor Siemian, Brock Osweiler,
Bortles.
Did he bring in Bortles?
Yeah, he brought in Blake Bortles.
All right, I think that's enough right there.
He brought in Blake Bortles, man. Who else? I mean, we had, pretty much. I mean, they make a joke about it. They put.
Is saw there something. A meme?
I think so. They put the quarterbacks that always brought in on like a carousel, and they just go around the carousel.
Yeah.
So I just he's got to start really feeling that heat from that seat that he's sitting on because. I mean, come on. Now, like you said, you can't give him credit for Elway. You can't give him credit for Manning. You can't.
No.
And really, it was the defense that won that Super Bowl. Everybody knows that. That defense was lights out. And so I'm interested to see how long they're going to keep him in there. And as we talked about last time, I think it's going to be difficult to get rid of Elway. That's an awkward conversation because Elway has done so much for the organization, of course, when he was playing. So that's tough for them to pull that rug underneath them.
Yeah, I mean, just moving on from Favre to Rodgers was hard enough.
Exactly.
And that was the right move. So it's going to be hard, and it's going to be ugly, and there's going to be hurt feelings. You're going to split your fan base. But you gotta do it at this point. Yeah. If he, like I said, I think you give him one more quarterback.
I agree.
And then if that quarterback doesn't work out, done.
I mean, look at Lynch with the 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
John Lynch. I mean, I guess I just took a kind of turn there, but I'm just talking about, players.
I think John Lynch got away with one because he got Kyle Shanahan. Because Kyle Shanahan is proving that he's an even better coach than Mike Shanahan.
I'm saying he's a Shanahan.
He is better than Mike Shanahan. What he's done this year with that team is unbelievable. What he did last year was crazy good. But John Lynch has put together an all-time defense. They have 7 injured starters, they're still a top defense.
Especially with Borland walking away, and then Patrick Willis
walking away. Both of them walking away,
Yeah, within a year, I think it was. I think Willis retired, and then I think the next year in 2014, Borland retired.
That's how it went.
And then, and those are, we're talking, Borland was averaging, I think, 13 tackles a game.
Yeah.
and obviously we know how well Patrick Willis was playing. So those being the leaders of that defense, he was able to obviously bid them their farewell, but then bring in some other talent to keep that team as a contender.
When you have a top 2 pick for 4 straight years and you take defensive linemen with those top 2 picks, that's going to help.
True.
That's going to really help. But that Richard Sherman, it turned out to be a great signing. It looked like Richard Sherman was over the hill when they signed him.
Yeah.
And then, they just, I don't know. They put together a great defense. Both sides of the corners. I mean, Kyle Shanahan's just, he's an awesome coach. He deserves to win Coach of the Year this year. I mean, one of them. There's been a lot of really good coaching.
Rams
jobs.
The Rams McVay, coach. Yeah, he's a beast.
He's been good.
Obviously, LaFleur with you guys.
I was gonna say, gosh darn it, the Dolphins head coach. I can't remember his name right now. Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Hold on.
It's gonna bug me.
Yep. Brian Flores.
Flores. Yep. Brian Flores. Good call.
Brian Flores. That is correct.
But then you also have McDermott in Buffalo. Where for the first time in 11 years, the New England Patriots did not win the AFC East, and since the first time since 1995, the Buffalo Bills won the AFC East.
The Bills are a good team.
They put something special together there.
Which is crazy.
It's Stephon Diggs was worth the 2 first-round picks.
100%. Steph, prior. I mean, man, I feel bad for him getting injured.
They said it's not serious.
It's not.
He's probably going to be back for next week. They don't expect it to.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And that team is dangerous, man. That team is dangerous. Josh Allen, he's playing some darn good football.
Yeah.
He is slinging that thing.
Absolutely is.
He is slinging that thing, and that's some pretty cool stuff to see. So, like we always said, despite the pandemic, I mean, we've really been getting some really good football. And obviously Goodell didn't take the route that Silver did for the NBA.
I mean, you've had some really...
It's been questionable.
The Broncos, the Ravens, the Titans. Yeah. Like, you have seen... And there's been other issues too,
and that's just what we know.
Yeah, and I mean the NCAA has it just as bad, like not taking it as serious.
Imagine how much they swept under the rug and that we don't know.
Yes, and you know they have.
Oh yeah, I mean he's swept concussions under the rug for how many years? The severity of them, and so
concussions are serious.
Exactly. So I could guarantee you he's sweeping some positive tests under the rug. Of COVID. So despite all that, we're still getting some exciting football, and I think it's going to be entertaining. I think we're going to have really entertaining playoffs.
I mean, even these teams that are 4 or 5 wins, usually they have games here and there, but they've been playing some good football, right? So like the Panthers last night. They have a 7-game losing streak. I had no idea because they've played really well. Then you have the Falcons who are playing better than they were at the beginning of the season. You have the Texans who've lost like 6 straight games by less than 3 points.
Who's on there coaching right now? Is it the OC?
Romeo Cornell is coaching the Texans.
Was he the OC not stepping in as a head coach? Or
I think he was a defensive coordinator.
Okay. That team is, my gosh, that team. And you would think that they have talent.
I would say their offensive skill position is not great around Deshaun Watson. You have Brandon Cooks, and you had Will Fuller. Those were fine, but you really don't have that number 1 killer wide receiver. So,
obviously after Hopkins left.
Yep.
After DeAndre left, and he's killing it in Arizona.
But I mean, like.
Arizona's not.
The Jaguars have played really tough. They only have 1 win. They lost in overtime. And then you just have the Jets finding weird ways to lose. But
well, we know what they're shooting.
Let's not talk about them.
They're shooting
bad. They're as bad as their record says, but
they're shooting for Trevor Lawrence. We all can see that now, and that's going to be very funny to see what he does if he pulls an Eli Manning.
I think he's going to, or a John Elway.
Yeah. And I always wondered, how does that work? Because I remember when Elway called me and, would you like to be a Denver Bronco? Did I have the ability to say no?
Yeah, you did.
Wow.
But it wouldn't have worked out great for you because you're a running back. You're not a quarterback.
True.
So you can do that when you're the top pick of the draft and you're a quarterback.
That's true.
You cannot do it when you're a running back.
That's true. Which is...
Or even a wide receiver. Even a wide receiver wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, they could have done that last year.
Yep. So I always thought about that. Like, how did that phone call sound?
If you
with Eli Manning and who drafted him first? Or
San Diego.
Who drafted him? Chargers, and then he obviously landed with the Giants.
Yep. And I want to say it was like 10. The Giants had the 10th pick or something. I want to
know. I wish I would, to tap into that phone call.
Right. How did he decide? Well, I'm actually going to go play for the Giants.
Obviously, his agent. I'm sure, but like what?
I think it was his dad. It was Archie.
Archie?
I'm very sure it was Archie that was pulling all those strings.
Archie's got some deep pockets. And
now his grandson is playing.
Balling.
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 So that's going to be interesting. Isn't it?
I forgot his name.
No, it's Cooper's kid,
It's Cooper's
right?
son. Yep. Yeah. Cooper's son. I think Cooper is some financial guru. I think, or some. He went
whatever.
to corporate America.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's interesting stuff. And hopefully, I mean, that kid's got a lot of he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. I can only imagine.
Does he though, or does he have no pressure at all? Because who cares?
I hope that's what he's thinking, but that's not what he's thinking.
Maybe. I mean, it depends on how good he gets. Like, where is he going to be like a top draft pick? Because if he's a top draft pick, then I agree.
Right.
But if he just like is a solid quarterback in college, maybe.
Right.
Just like a Heisman contender. Yeah.
Too early to tell, but that's some pretty fun stuff.
If he's a top draft pick, he has some big then he has some pressure. For sure. I think no matter
Eli,
what.
Peyton, Archie.
I think no matter what you have at the top draft pick, you have pressure. But then you add on top of it the Manning legacy.
Yeah. Some big shoes to fill because all three of them are first ballot Hall of Famers.
I don't think Eli's going to be a first ballot.
You don't think so? I think.
No, I don't know how he is. You look at his numbers. You look at the era he played in. He cannot be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
You think they won't give him to him because of the championships?
I think that's why he's going to get in.
Right.
I think because of his Super Bowl moments,
Gosh,
because of his playoff performances. But I don't think he gets in the first ballot.
Man.
Yeah, that's why they won.
He had so many good players around him, though, even on offense.
I know.
He was stacked. That team was stacked. So, 3 Hall of Famers. That is some.
That's a legacy. That's a legacy.
Big shoes to fill, and to hold that name up. So I hope he's got a support system around him, and it's just a game. At the end of the day, it's just a game.
That's right.
But that's some cool stuff. I mean, we can talk sports forever, but I think it's we obviously can't ignore things that are going on in today's world. Obviously, we will be transitioning into the Biden administration, January 20th. 21st, whichever day, and I think
they're still trying to figure out a way to
Trump
stay in.
Trump
is scary.
Trump
it should be done.
Trump's he's gonna do what he can to get his last hoorah. But aside from politics, obviously they've been rolling out the vaccine. I've been watching videos of people get the vaccine. There's obviously polarized opinions about the vaccine. People are afraid because of how fast it was rolled out.
I think rightfully so. Like, just because something is developed and put out there doesn't necessarily mean that you want to be the first person to get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you watch it explained how it was created and you watch what went into it, you will see for yourself that it's safer than what you think. So,
that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's the message that we really want to push here is have your opinions. Everyone can have their opinions. I mean, you are entitled to your own opinion. You're just not entitled to your own facts. So do your research.
That's the best way to put that.
Do your research. Watch the videos. Like, what's this video that you're talking about? Do the research and educate yourself more on it before posting your opinion on social media about it because...
And check your sources.
Yeah, and check your sources. Because you got people who are reading your stuff and maybe like, okay, yeah, I feel that. I'm not going to take the vaccine either. So just make sure that you're mindful of that and do your research. Educate yourself on what's in it, how they developed it, what it's going to do in your body. If you do, obviously contract the virus.
Yeah.
So do a little bit of that research. And then, obviously if you feel... entitled to post your opinion, but just make sure that you do the work first.
Absolutely. If you're on the fence about it, I highly recommend looking up videos of doctors and virologists especially talking about it, because they have the most expertise, not just your general medical doctor, and especially not your doctor that doesn't necessarily prescribe to Western medicine, because they're going to be automatically biased against getting the vaccine. So that's just that's a good place to kind of leave it, I think.
Absolutely. But, do your research and
it's some exciting times. Some exciting times because we might be getting to that crest of that hill. And
right there.
It's still pretty steep. People are still going out there exposing themselves to contact. We still have it running pretty rampant everywhere.
And first, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, with the holidays coming up, just keep your family members safe.
That's a really good point. My apologies for jumping in there. I was just going to say, and obviously us
better be your apologies.
Us sitting this close together, we've been tested. His son's birthday party was yesterday, and it wasn't even a party. It was just pretty much us and,
we get tested
like 5
weekly.
other people. And
we have been for a while. So.
Right, and I got tested 3 times this month already. So I'm trying to figure out the word because I said COVID friendly yesterday. And
I would say we are.
He made fun of me for that. We are mindful of COVID.
Yes, yeah. We're taking necessary precautions.
Yeah.
To protect ourselves, our kids, family members. We're taking all precautions that we can. We understand that a test tells us here and now, but we're also not going anywhere to expose ourselves after we get the test.
Exactly.
I have been very happy seeing the number of masks like if I go to the grocery store.
Touche.
I've seen the most masks since Thanksgiving than I've ever seen, which is amazing. That's so awesome.
That's good.
I'm glad to see it. You don't see the videos of Karens anymore. And it's so nice. I mean, they're still out there, but...
We're getting into the flu season.
The flu season's not... So...
Go ahead.
I had a family member that posted, with COVID this year, you're not seeing the flu medications being sold. You're not seeing people getting the flu like they have in years past. Makes you wonder if they're just lumping it under COVID. It's like, no, everybody's wearing a mask. They're not spreading the flu. People are staying home. Kids aren't at school spreading it. Like, use your brains a little bit. Think about this. Like, why would the flu not be spread as much? It's like, well, because nobody's going anywhere to spread it.
Exactly.
There's already systems in place to keep the spread from happening. It's like it's very easy to see. You don't have to have a doctorate to see it or a medical degree. Like,
there's a strong correlation with socially distancing yourself and the significant decrease in flu spread.
You're right. It's you're wearing a mask, so you're preventing the spread of the flu right there.
Right.
My goodness.
So yeah, we can go on forever about that stuff, but I think you mentioned it. I think best way to put it, educate yourself. Not saying you haven't already. I can educate myself more on it as well, but always room for improvement in that area. But just be safe, be smart, and
we're nearing the crest of the hill, so let's keep at it. We're almost there. That's what's kind of exciting about us moving on with from the podcast to the video, because we kind of started the podcast at the worst possible time. There's no commuting, so like you gotta find time to listen to it, and we understand that can be tough. That's why we want to do something a little bit different. You can see our faces and our reactions.
Absolutely.
And, maybe see a little bit more animation.
Yeah, and just like RJ stated, we're playing around with this new system, but we're gonna do a lot of fun stuff. We're gonna, like we stated earlier, the watch parties. We are both video game enthusiasts, so we're gonna be playing a lot of video games.
In case you didn't know,
I'm about to download some PC games because I think I'm missing a lot of entertainment with PC games. I really enjoyed PC games growing up, so I'm gonna start moving in that direction. But I will finish God of War before the end of the month.
We'll see.
We have a bet, and I will finish it.
We'll see.
And we're getting close. We only got like 11 more days.
Yeah, so you better start.
I got it. But yeah, we're just excited to keep the engagement going. So we want for people to obviously tune in, ask any question, any kind of question. We're going to address it, answer it, etc., and just have some fun with this bad boy, because I think this is the time to, like you said, we're getting in that point of our country getting back to healthy terms, and we just want to continue the relationship with the people who listen in on us.
Maybe our mind space can stop being taken up by what's going on around us, and then we can focus on ourselves and like having some more fun, right?
Yeah.
So
I like that.
One thing that I'm excited to talk about again would be like entertainment stuff. So like, we got movies coming out. We got TV
Ooh.
shows starting.
Talk about Warner Brothers. Did you see that?
The HBO Max deal.
How they're just dumping everything.
Yeah, everything's gonna be on their streaming platform day and date, as well as theaters. So
they're just dumping everything.
That's gonna hurt theaters really bad.
That is, a lot of theaters are actually very pissed about that.
Understandably,
they actually have voiced their opinions about it. Some big time movie theaters nationwide, because obviously they have contracts with you know, Warner Brothers and etc.
And COVID hit them especially hard. I mean,
yeah.
you have movie theaters that are just not able to make it, and understandably so. Those are big buildings. That's a lot of overhead right there. A lot of
overhead
that you got to cover somehow. Like
utilities.
Think about how you have 10 people in the movie theater. At least here,
it's only $100.
10 people per movie. Like, how are you making money? How are you able to pay your staff? How are you? Like,
that's only $100. So instead of them making $2,500, per view, not only making about $100 per view, that's a significant decrease in revenue. In revenue. So sorry about it, but go ahead.
That's
though,
all right.
about the entertainment.
That's what. It's gonna be interesting to see if they carry the Warner Brothers movies like that. Or if they just say, "No, we're not going to show it. We're going to show some other movies." So.
True. I think it's going to be... I'm glad you mentioned the movie theater part, because I always want to be mindful of businesses and people who are stressing about going belly up. Because for me, I'm excited. For my own personal selfish reasons, I'm excited about Warner Brothers dumping everything, because I love movies. I mean, I love movies. I love watching how movies are made. I love how the music that they use for movies, the acting, etc. So I can binge watch all of these movies that are coming out in 2021 all at the same time. I'm like, that's awesome. But I'm glad you mentioned that point about these movie theaters and people possibly going to lose their jobs.
And I miss movie theaters, right?
Yeah.
Like, I miss going to the movies and getting... Even though popcorn is just like a waste of space in your stomach, it's just a bunch of air.
Not a popcorn
I do
guy.
kind of miss the movie theater popcorn. I miss getting a big Mountain Dew. I miss.
I respect it.
I miss getting that donut dish that they have, which is decent, but really it's about that brownie ice cream.
I never had that.
Speaking of which, I've been putting on a lot of weight, and it's starting to wear on me a little bit.
What are you talking about? Look at this.
I'm feeling it in the gut region.
I'm feeling it. I'm about to be cut.
And I bought all those cookies last week. We just had my oldest son's 3rd birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So we got too many treats. I feel the weight. I'm sure a lot of other people feel the weight.
The COVID-19, the 19 pounds.
It might be more than that. It might be the 29.
Yeah. So I'm excited for...
My back's been hurting, probably because I've been putting on too much weight. My oldest kid weighs 41 pounds as a 3-year-old.
But he's solid though.
He's tall for his age
and
too.
he is tall.
He stands next to 4-year-olds.
I was watching that.
As tall.
I was watching that video this morning that you guys sent us when he was jumping off the couch, acting like he was flying, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's tall."
And he
I was like, "Geez,
jumps far."
I was like, "I just saw him yesterday."
He doesn't just jump; he jumps far.
Like did he have a cape on?
No, he had it.
He's trying to,
the balloons. He had 2 balloons tied to his arms, and I told him you got to flap your wings.
Have you showed him that movie Up?
Not yet.
He's
seen it, but I don't think he's like seen it since he kind of knows what movie's what now.
You should show him that later today, and like the balloons in the house, and then he's gonna tie.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And try to fly, but yeah, I think it's we got some exciting things coming up.
I want to talk about a couple of TV shows because they've been really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm at the very last episode for both of them. So I got Apple TV Plus because it was the same price getting that with a couple things I already have from Apple. So we ended up getting it, and we were watching Ted Lasso.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like basically a D2 college football coach who gets hired to coach in the Premier League. Soccer in Britain. And it is hilarious. As Jason Sudeikis.
He's going from football, American football, to European football.
Yes. To the highest highest league.
Yeah.
And hilarity ensues. It's It's a super heartwarming show. Like Jason Sudeikis kills it. The supporting cast kills it. Yeah.
Okay. I like him.
He's just so it's really heartwarming. It's really funny. There's a lot of laugh out loud moments, but it's also very wholesome. So there's a lot of difficult topics that they cover.
Yeah.
But they cover it in such a way it makes you feel all the feels, but at the same time, like it'll make you laugh too.
Yeah,
so
that's a good.
It's a really good show. I couldn't believe I heard a lot of good things about it, but I like it more than what I thought I would. Yeah.
Only on Apple.
Only on Apple, and then The Mandalorian.
See, I was actually going to ask you about that.
I'm on the last episode. I'm hoping to watch it tomorrow because I won't have the kids for a little bit, so I can just watch it myself.
Yeah.
So far this season has been awesome.
They said this is season 2, right?
Yeah. So like the first season, they were very, like an hour-long episodes, which led to a lot of filler in there that you didn't need. And this season, they kind of pared it down to like between 30 and 40-minute episodes, and it's done nothing but wonders for the show. And there's like no filler. It's so good.
And all it is right, and without obviously any spoilers, but the Mandalorian. His objective is just
a Mandalorian.
A Mandalorian. His objective is to get that Yoda-like creature back to his people.
His objective is to get a child that he's taking care of. Yes, back to his
planet or whatever.
Not really his planet or his people, but where he belongs.
Okay.
So I highly recommend it. Even if you don't like Star Wars, like it's a lot of fun. It's that Western show that people kind of been missing out on. Every once in a while, there's a side character where the acting is like, my goodness, this is not good. But the story is right where it needs to be. It's really good. I'm really loving this season. So, and then there's The Boys and
Boys is my stuff right there.
What's the other one?
Gosh, The Boys. I like The Boys.
I really like The Boys.
So Mandalorian, you can get that on Disney+.
The Expanse is the other one. The Expanse. Both of those are on Amazon.
And Amazon. The Boys, Prime. Yep. Which is a really good show.
The Expanse is on Prime as well, and that's really cool. And like the 5th season's dropping on that. I'm only on the 2nd season, and I'm interested to see how they get 5 seasons out of this.
Okay.
It's got me. I really like the story, so I really wish that my kids would go to bed easier so that I could have some time after they go to bed to do some stuff.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I need new shows. I'm watching Rick and Morty just because I just saw so much hype about Rick and Morty from a lot of people, and I'm like, there's no way this cartoon can be that good. I mean, because I'm like, it's a cartoon, but how? But it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's got a
what
real.
Season are you in?
It's got a real 3.
3.
I think there's only 4. I think
at like 3, it like really like season 2 really takes off, and then 3's like just like way better.
Yeah.
So
and you get that real Back to the Future vibe. I mean, it's almost exactly like Back to the Future. I mean, with time travel, and then obviously with a scientist with gray hair who's whacked out, and a kid traveling with him. So I think that might have been the creator's inspiration. I'm pretty sure I may have heard that actually, but pretty good show. But I need more. I need more. I am watching The Boys. I'm gonna finish season 2.
Oh really? You're probably further ahead than I am then.
I haven't. Yeah, I'm about to say I haven't even finished it yet. But no, I'll check out The Expanse because my dad actually said that's good. The Expanse.
So the thing with The Expanse, I want to preface is the first season has a slow build.
How many episodes? About 10.
10 or 12, I think.
Okay.
Like towards the 3/4 part, like all of it starts to pay off, and it's like boom, 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 boom. So you gotta watch it. So.
I don't think whenever I hear that a show is slow, that doesn't really turn me off of it because I like character building. I mean, because Breaking Bad was freaking slow. Yeah. At the beginning, like extremely slow.
That's actually a show,
but it's amazing.
I never finished, and I didn't think it was as good as everybody made it up.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's...
Same with Game of Thrones. Like I read the books on Game of Thrones. And after season 3, it got too far away from the books, and I'm like, no, this ain't for me.
I'm not a fan of Game of Thrones. I respect it. I think obviously it's an amazing book, and I give them credit. that all the work that they put into it, except the Starbucks coffee in one of the scenes.
But see, I saw whatever.
I'm like, how does the set designer not see that? You gotta.
How does the editor not see that?
And that too, like this went through so many eyeballs before, obviously.
Yeah.
Saying this is the final product. How do you not see that? But I wasn't a fan of Game of Thrones. I think I watched midway through season 3. But I'm like, I was going into Game of Thrones thinking it was going to be like Gladiator every single episode. I mean, we're cutting heads off. We're doing all the above every single episode. But in that story, which I respect character building, but my gosh, I don't want to go through an entire season of character development. I mean,
but the payoffs,
you gotta learn the families
like,
and
yeah,
the
there's
lineage.
A lot to know there.
And I'm like, okay, I respect it, but it's a soap opera.
It is. It for sure is.
It's a soap opera. But Breaking Bad, when I talk about character building, I like Breaking Bad because when I first watched the show, like when I first started it prior to finishing it, I didn't like it the first 3 or 4 or 5 episodes because I didn't like the characters. Didn't like them. I'm like, other than obviously Bryan Cranston.
Because there's not really...
Like his wife...
There's not really a hero character.
Mm-hmm.
Like
his wife, I didn't like. His children, I didn't like.
Yeah.
I'm like, but when you continue to watch it and they're building on top of their characters and then you really understand their dynamics, it's like, oh, you were supposed to get annoyed by his wife and by his kids and by him and etc. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool stuff. So The Expanse, you're saying it's a little slow starting?
Yeah.
I'm still gonna watch it because if there's gonna be a reward with
there is a reward
developing the characters, then it's worth it.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. So
I'm gonna have to check it out then. I will check it out. What else we got? Brewing?
Any good movies you watched lately? I haven't watched any either.
No.
Wonder Woman's coming out.
It's been a slow year for movies.
So I'm kind of excited to watch that. It might be out already. I don't know. It might be on HBO Max.
I heard it's good. I think it dropped in UK.
It probably did. But you know what? I think it's in theaters.
God, Christmas is in 5 days. Jeez.
I like how now there's visuals so people can see you come to that realization.
Well, this year, and many people can agree, it's just...
It's
I'm just
a tale
here.
of times, right? So April, March, April, May went super slow. June went really slow, and then it was like July, August, September went
July. It was like,
and then like October, there was no October. There was barely a November, and now we're in December.
We're almost done with this year, and it's so it really hasn't been a good year for movies, obviously, because of Hollywood, and that's the thing I wanted to actually talk about now since we're in this topic. Where's Hollywood going to be? I mean, we are rolling out the vaccine, so they may recover, of course.
I think that they're going to be fine at the end of this. It's going to change.
Because, I mean, I'm saying with the pandemic and also the streaming now is
I don't know. It's going to be crazy to see 2 years from now what changed, like what we did before the pandemic and now how we kind of interact after. Are we still going to see these massively large gatherings that we used to see? I don't think so.
I think it's going to take some time.
Yeah, I don't see how you can.
And I brought up that Hollywood exactly, because maybe some employers will mandate the vaccine, but then again, most people are probably be too afraid to take it. I don't know, but I brought up the whole Hollywood thing is because obviously listening to Tom Cruise rant when Tom Cruise had his rant, he was mentioning obviously what's going on with Hollywood, and then you could just hear it in his voice. He's nervous.
He's got some fear.
Some fear about the direction of Hollywood because, just like I stated, prior to the pandemic, streaming has been a big thing. Dropping movies, Netflix originals,
and Amazon originals.
Yep, and then you hit the pandemic, which is slowing down filming movies.
Yep, so we have not had a lot of new content. So that's another thing. The Great British Bake Off. Just finished that new season. Let's go.
The Great British Bake Off. Never. I think I've strolled by that. I think I have. Yeah.
How have you now? I don't know. Whatever.
You like watching the Food Network, I'm not really into that stuff.
It's a very wholesome show. Let's put it that way. So
Okay.
we'll stop it right there. But anyway, going back to Hollywood and like streaming and everything. So
I'm interested to see what's gonna happen.
you have a lot of bubbles that were basically made for this. So now you still have bubbles.
Do you think people are just gonna? I mean, actors and you see Vin Diesel's going into video games.
Yeah,
he knows what's happening.
Vin Diesel's been going into video games though for years.
True.
That's the thing.
That's true. But then are they just gonna all come over to Netflix?
Netflix, Amazon, Hulu,
for Netflix
all
originals.
These, yeah, I mean,
and just go off of the.
You're already seeing it. You're already seeing the stream. Like it's getting bigger. So streaming got kind of bigger, and then it consolidated a little bit, and now it's getting bigger again.
Because of the pandemic.
How's it?
Yeah.
How are they going to justify paying for all of these streaming platforms to see all these shows? Because some of them are not going to work out. You're going to have to combine some of these. You're going to have to, like CBS, NBC, they're going to have to combine in order to justify being a streaming platform.
And then you do it, and then the same conversation is like, how do you justify I'm paying for this platform, and then also now I gotta when Mulan first came out, and then this way I'm paying for Disney Plus, but now I also have to pay what was like $30.
It was $30
when it came out, and I gotta
yeah.
pay $30 for the movie. I'm like, I want to know how they're gonna work on justifying that in the future, because that's a lot of money.
That is a lot.
That's a lot of money. Which I get it,
you're asking for a lot from your customer base at that point.
Yeah, which I get it. You can have 10, 15 people watching it, of course. I get that, but still, that's a lot of money when I'm already paying for the platform that's viewing it. But I got to pay to view it. So because I love movies, I'm really interested to see which direction they're going to go. And I think Tom Cruise's, the fear in his voice, really...
That put it in perspective for you the most?
Yeah. Because,
okay.
Tom Cruise, I don't think he's a top actor, but obviously when we look at
his growth,
his movies, etc., he's the top actor.
I think his best movie, I know a lot of people are in on those Mission Impossibles.
I know mine is of his.
His best movie of the past, 10 years, in my opinion, is Live, Die, Repeat. Edge of Tomorrow. It's really good. It's like Groundhog Day, but it's like sci-fi and stuff. Okay. So
can you take a guess on what mine is?
The Mummy.
No, I never saw that.
Yeah, I know, it was terrible.
Yeah, I actually didn't even hear much about that. And you're right. I remember when that was being promoted, and I was like, "Wait, this is the new Mummy with Tom," and then it just disappeared.
This is bad. What movies has he done in the past 10 years? I guess
this is gonna be
Tropic Thunder.
He was in that.
You don't know he was in Tropic Thunder in a fat suit?
I never seen that movie.
You never seen Tropic?
No. I mean, I've seen so many clips of it.
This is what I have to deal with.
But I have not seen Tropic
This is what I have to deal with.
I have not seen Tropic. Obviously, I know it's Robert Downey Jr. Playing a black guy in the movie, right? Or whatever it is. But no, I have not seen that. All right, do you want me to just tell you?
Yeah.
My favorite Tom Cruise movie, Minority Report.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a really good movie. That is a really good movie.
That's a really fine movie. I
like his acting. There's many emotions in that movie. Obviously, he's sad about his child who got abducted, but then he's angry to futuristic stuff. I like obviously the premise of the movie of stopping crime before it happens.
And is it really a crime if it never happened?
Exactly. It brings in that whole debate. Like, how are you going to lock me up if I have yet to commit the crime or to commit a crime?
Yeah.
Just because your system thinks that it's right. And so I really like that. I like the premise, and I'm really not a big Tom Cruise fan. I'm really not, because his movies are all like really the same. He's gonna run.
Yeah. He's gonna run and jump on a plane at some point. But it's gonna be really, really long odds that it's gonna happen. But some would say impossible.
But Minority Report was good. But anyways, yeah, that's the big question. What's gonna happen now with movies?
Yeah,
with streaming. We're still gonna have them, but how is it gonna look?
Yeah. It's very interesting. only the future will tell. So
yeah, absolutely.
You've been playing video games lately? Loser.
No, well, let me think real quick. Not really. It's been pretty busy. I've had a really busy December.
Yeah.
Very, very busy December. In a good way. Work has been very busy. And obviously holidays of purchasing gifts, making sure you're getting the right gifts and being around family. But as for video games, I've been playing God of War. I haven't been playing a lot of it, but I've been playing. I haven't been playing a lot of it. We have a bet.
All right.
I better beat the game before the end of the year, or I'm gonna have to pay him $100, or $150, whatever it was. So I'm not gonna pay it because I'm gonna beat the game. But as for video games, I haven't been really playing a lot. I really want to get back into Fortnite.
There's a lot of those multiplayer games that I'm interested to get back into to see how they are. So like,
yeah,
the last time I played Fortnite, it ain't the same game. Like,
there's
it's
so much
completely
different.
Rocket League is like, you know, an evergreen game that like I totally want to get back in that because it's fun. Warzone kind of seems like it changed since it switched over to like the new Call of Duty that came out. But Apex Legends, like
real quick,
that game looks like it could be cool.
The thing with Warzone, and I'll let you. The thing with Warzone is I don't think it's worth the space it takes up.
I agree with you there, especially if you don't have a lot of space. Like on the PS5 right now, it's not expandable hard drive, so you don't have a lot of space.
And I don't think it's worth it.
And it takes up like the game itself of Warzone, because you have to have Modern Warfare downloaded, and then I think you also have to have part of the new Call of Duty downloaded.
Yeah, see.
So that's like a quarter of your space or more. That might be up to a half.
But then you said, but then you said Apex. I really want to get into that.
Yeah, that looks like they're going to be making some changes too, so it'll be interesting to see where they go. Like,
yeah, I like Apex.
I also really like Apex.
And we always talk. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that the length of games is like perfect.
Yep. Just about to say that. Yeah, we always talk about that. With Warzone, you got to commit. You know, if you're going to hit, matchmaking again, you got to commit for another 45 minutes.
At least.
and most people don't have that time to crank out games, because I mean, you crank out 3 or 4 games, you're talking like 3 hours.
Yeah. And being a parent, you don't have that kind of time.
But Apex, a match is like 15 minutes,
and that's if you win.
Right. Yeah, you can have a match of 5 minutes, a match of 10 minutes, so you can crank out 5-10 games, which can probably be like an hour and a half, which is like that perfect time. But anything else? I mean, you've been playing Demon Souls.
I've actually kind of fallen off Demon Souls a little bit, just because I don't know. It hasn't. it had its hooks in me, and now I'm at a point where I got to start grinding to get a higher level. I got to figure out what weapons. Like Bloodborne was so great because I did grind, but it didn't feel like grinding. Like upgrading these weapons, you got weapons that you could tell how to use, how to upgrade them, how to make them. It was just fun using the different weapons.
Yeah.
And then the different areas were just like engaging, like how the map connected, and then just Demon Souls is different. It's just it's slower too.
Heard you talk poorly of a game. So this is a really good take, you guys. I've known him for 11 years, and
I only tell you about the good games.
Right. I've heard him talk poorly about movies. He critiques movies, of course. He critiques, obviously, gameplay with football, etc. Sports, you'll critique. But I've never heard you have a poor critique, or I guess I want to say poor critique, but have a negative insight. I guess you know what I'm trying to say here. I'm lost for words, but speak poorly about a game. I've never heard you, because you only talk to me about the good games. Yep. So this is weird.
I know. I thought it was gonna get its hooks in me the way that it started, the way that it was going, and it was like I got over this little hump, and then all of a sudden it was boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And I was having fun, but now it's just like I kind of got stuck in this one part, and it's like you gotta fight through it, and it just I don't feel like fighting through it.
I've never.
Maybe I'll come back to it. But
so that most definitely not gonna play it then. I won't be playing any Demon Souls.
I mean, you never know. You could just like use mine for a little bit and see if you really do enjoy it. But I don't. And I also feel like I didn't do any research before I jumped in because I wanted to go in blind.
Yeah.
And I feel like I messed up by not starting with magic class. Like, starting with the magic class is so important in that game, and I didn't know it. So, especially for beginners, they said.
What's that, like the sorcerer? Being like a sorcerer?
Because they said it's like almost like easy mode.
Okay.
But,
I mean, I like that stuff.
It's not... Yeah, it is, I guess, a little bit like easy mode. So, I feel like I made it harder on myself than I needed to.
What are you, like, you're a swordsman?
I took a soldier. And I guess that's like one of the hardest classes to start with. And it's like, I figured taking soldier, I was starting with, like your medium class. No, I started with like the hardest one. So I might just restart it. And then maybe it didn't make it better. I don't know.
See, I like that stuff. See, that stuff I really like in games. I have not played Demon's Souls, so I'm not really speaking about the game Demon's Souls. I guess I'm talking more about the time period. I really like the medieval times.
Yeah.
I used to play RuneScape a lot growing up. Love that.
You're a fantasy guy.
Yeah, I like that stuff, especially with the PC play. That was RuneScape, but building up your character, trade, all that stuff. I really like that stuff. Bargaining with people, looting. Really love that stuff. I grew up, obviously, once I hit my teenage years, I loved Assassin's Creed. Kind of the same stuff with looting, bargaining, hiding from people and all that stuff. And then Thief. A lot of people didn't like Thief. I liked Thief because it had an Assassin's Creed, climbing, jumping. But I love that whole being sneaky, looting, assassinating people, having different ways of assassinating people. I don't want to get real morbid here, but talking about video games, of course. Different ways of doing that stuff to complete a mission. I really like that stuff, so I enjoy that. So video games are exploding right now. They're exploding. We had the opportunity of watching the awards show.
Yep.
So the awards show, obviously, Last of Us 2 won a bunch, but that was whenever we saw that Vin Diesel is in a video game now.
Again.
What did you say? Again. He's now the president of...
He's the president of a video game company. The game... The game that he's in, or he was in that trailer, he is president of that company now. So that's pretty cool.
See, that's a very...
we talked about that last episode, and... we talked about Mass Effect and how big it was, and I said I was going to start playing Mass Effect Andromeda. Right. I did. So I've been playing that. I probably put 6-7 hours in since we into the game already, which it's just like one of those RPGs. It starts kind of slow. Right. You build up, so I'm still building up, but I could see it getting good.
Is it like a Destiny?
I kind of enjoy it. Not, I mean,
I guess the futuristic ray guns type of...
Yes, kind of, but not at all, because it's like, it's an RPG.
Right,
it's like a meld between a turn-based and like an action RPG.
Yeah.
So like, you have like powers that, take a little bit to refresh.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. I love that universe. I love the world that they built. So
I mean, the hype for that game is, I haven't seen hype for a game like that in a very long time. Because like we talked about in the last episode, there was hype for Last of Us 2, but people were saying it. There doesn't need to be a second Last of Us 2, but it was still great.
Yep.
So, but the hype for Mass Effect, I was like, whoa.
Where did this come from?
I'm clearly missing out on something, but that's some pretty cool stuff, man. Pretty cool stuff. I think we covered some pretty good topics here.
Yeah, it was fun seeing our faces on here, trying to figure out how
these ugly mugs.
Do we look at each other? Do we look up at the camera? We checking out all of our screens to make sure everything's working, right? So,
don't know what to do with my hands.
Thank you for tuning in. Where can they find you, Mons?
Yeah, you guys can find me at MonteBall28 on Twitter, Instagram, MonteBall. Obviously, our Untapped Keg pages as well on social media. Where can they find you?
You can Google Untapped Keg. We're the first thing that pops up. Untappedkeg.com. You can find us. You find me at It's Trickster on Twitter. ITZ. The I is a 1 in Trickster. You just hit us up on one of the social media. Let us know what you want. as far as like questions asked. We'll cover what you're looking for, maybe in some of our content going forward. Maybe showing, maybe our right side or left side more. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do something.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna really start streaming some Twitch.
Yeah,
here too.
we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna hopefully, we've been talking about streaming more games and building this community. This is part of it. Breaking out into something like this. So.
Yep. Cool stuff. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being patient with us, and let's try to be better tomorrow than we were today, because at least if we fail, we're trying.